Hey, thanks for clicking on my video. Seb Heslow here, and if you get a 1066GB or a 1080 or a 1080 Ti or maybe even other Nvidia cards with GDDR5 memory type in them, then you might be able to do what's called a memory tweak, which will in some cases drastically increase the hash rate on Ethereum and maybe even other coins for those GPUs. And I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that in this video, so stick around. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna be doing it in T-Rex miner on Windows. It should be fairly similar in other miners, I think. And if you're on Hive OS or other operating systems, I'm sure it's very similar too. So yeah, that's that out of the way. Let's get to memory tweaking, huh? All right, so before we get started, I just wanted to say too that you might, if your miner doesn't have like built-in memory tweaking in it, you might want to look into something called the Ethlargementpill, which does roughly the same thing. All right, cool. Let's move on. So the very first thing that you need to do is you need to open your file explorer and you need to go to the folder of your miner. So for me, that is T-Rex miner, and I've got it in my downloads. Here it is. And I'm just gonna walk you through the whole process of doing it so that you can see what sort of like issues you might run into. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick the sort of preset batch file that I'm gonna be using. So for me, that is the Ethereum to Ethermine batch file. So I'm gonna right click on that. I'm gonna hit edit. And of course, the first time you do that, it's gonna say Windows protected your PC. And what you need to do is just click more info and then click run anyway. And so that's going to open the sort of like miner configuration file here for you. And this is where you can add commands and make changes to your miner. And I'm not going to go through all of this, but you need to set your pool server address that you want to be using, as well as you need to change to your own wallet address. This is just the default that came with the miner. And then you can also name your rig here, but we're just going to go with rig 0 for now. So then what you need to do, if you just have one GPU plugged in like I do, just at the end of the first row here, you do a space, then 2 dashes, then you type MT, and then it's a number between 0 and 6. 0 being off and 6 being max. So what the developer of T-Rex and other sort of mining programs suggest is that you start with 1 and then you work your way up, until either you reach 6 and it's all good, or to the point where you notice your card becoming a bit unstable and then you dial it back a little bit. And if you have more than one GPU, so let's say you have 3 GPUs and the one you want to memory tweak is the third one, what you need to do is just 0, 0, and then the number for the memory tweak you want to do. So let's say 1 in this instance, right? But let's say you have 5 GPUs and the one you want to memory tweak is in the middle. You have to do 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. Okay, does that make sense? And of course, the way to see where your GPU is just run your miner and see where in the list it is. Okay, but since I only have one GPU here, I'm just gonna type 1. And then I'm gonna click the X button here to close it. And then it's gonna ask me to save, and I'm gonna say save. All right. And then I'm gonna double click on the batch file to run my miner. And you can see it has the little memory tweak there. And then it immediately is going to give me this error with the red text. And what that error says is you need to run the miner with admin privileges, because you cannot do the memory tweak without that. So I'm just gonna close the miner for now. And then I have to right click on it and I have to select run as administrator, okay? And it's gonna give you this and you have to say yes. So then you're gonna be met by this issue instead, which is when you run something as administrator, it looks sort of from the top level of your file structure. And if that doesn't make sense to you, that does, like, it will in a little bit. So as you can see here, it is trying to go to C/Windows/System32 and then open trex.exe. But that's not where our trex.exe file is. It's in this folder right here. So what we need to change in the batch file now is we have to right click on it again and hit edit. And you see here right at the beginning where it says trex.exe, we need to add the full sort of file location for that file. And luckily, if we go back to the file explorer here, that file is right here. And if we right click on that, we can select properties there. And it should say the location of your Trex file here. So do you see that? Now this is going to be different for you because you probably have named your Windows user something. I named mine admin, and you've also probably put your Trex somewhere other than the downloads folder. So you need to do this step and you need to copy the file location of the Trex miner, like according to where it is in your computer, okay? So you select this file path here, right click on it and say copy. Then you can close this, and then we go back to the batch file that we're editing in our sort of notepad here. And then we go right to the start here and we paste the file location that we just copied. And then we just need to add a backslash in front of Trex, like that. And then again we hit the close button and save. So now we need to come back to our batch file, right click, run as administrator, yes, and success. The miner is running with the memory tweak, as you can see here. So all we have to do now is just let this run for a bit, make sure it's stable, then close it, go into our bat file again, edit, go all the way to the right here, change our memory tweak to 2, close, save, run as administrator again, make sure it's stable, and then repeat this process over and over, you know, like memory tweak 2, memory tweak 3, memory tweak 4, etc., until we either reach memory tweak 6, and then we're happy there, or we notice the card starting to get unstable, and then we dial it back by 1 or 2 on the memory tweak. Okay, that is it. That is how you can get a significant amount of extra hash rate on these GPUs. But yeah, that's it. If this video was helpful to you, then please give it one of these. I'd really appreciate it. But what you gotta do now is you gotta click on one of the videos on the screen, because this video is over. You can also click the picture of my face to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. But yeah, go click on that next video and I'll see you there. Goodbye. Bye bye.